The Mid-America High School Hockey League regular season got underway last weekend. Stars split a pair of games at Mid-Missouri, Northwest Arkansas coming to town this weekend, and a conversation with Stars forwards and alternate captains Luke Gressel and Tristan Prier. All that and more on this episode of the Kansas City Stars High School Hockey Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Kansas City Stars High School Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Rob Plamondon. Thank you for joining. Before I begin, please, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and we love to get your feedback, so leave a comment down below. Well, the Mid-America High School Hockey League season got underway last weekend. Stars split a couple of games against the Mid-Missouri Tigers, losing 3-0 Saturday, but a nice, thrilling come-from-behind 4-3 win on Sunday, a game that featured 3 goals by the Stars in the final 3 minutes and 32 seconds, including the game winner by Luke Gressel with 14 seconds to play in the game. Saturday's game, while a 3-0 shutout, for the most part, I thought it was pretty well played, certainly in the first period. The Stars started out very strong in that first period. Gressel had a breakaway. There was a 2-on-1, might have been another odd man rush in there. Unfortunately, just not able to get the puck past Tiger goalie Nolan D'Amelia, who played extremely well, getting the 3-0 shutout. And despite the pressure that the Stars were able to put on in that first period, just not able to get that very critical first goal. Second and third periods, a little bit undisciplined, some sloppy play, especially in front of the net. Number of penalties. Stars picked up 6 penalties in the game, one of those being a 5-minute major. So 15 minutes of shorthanded time, a full period playing a player down on the ice. And even though the Stars were able to kill 5 out of those 6 penalties, which is a pretty good penalty kill percentage, however, you do that often enough and eventually it's going to come back and bite you, which it did. The first mid-mo goal I thought was a little bit unfortunate for the Stars. A shot from the point, it was deflected. I believe it was Carter Fitzpatrick for the Tigers that blocked the shot and then chased down the rebound and was able to take it in on a breakaway and beat Gavin Napier. The other 2 goals, a little bit undisciplined by the Stars, letting Tiger players get right in front of the net. One late in the second period and then the third goal in the third period. Other than that, I thought Napier played extremely well. Again, the first goal a little bit unfortunate, and it's always tough too when your team doesn't score. Shots on goal in that game, 29 shots apiece. So again, I thought the Stars were able to do a pretty good job of getting the puck on the net. There were some other opportunities I thought they could have had, but tough way to start with the 3-0 loss. Sunday's game, wow, what a thriller that was. A wild third period in that game. The Stars really controlled the play, I think, for most of the game, with the exception of the first 6 minutes of the third period. That's the one part of the game where they, I think, got a little sloppy, maybe a little careless with the puck. But for the most part, controlled the play. Again, D'Amelia extremely good in goal for the Tigers. And the Stars finally able to get through late in the second period on a goal by Ashton Schimmel. He was able to get the Stars up 1-0 late in the second period. But again, that sluggish third period saw Midmo score 3 goals in the first half of that third period. And it certainly looked like they were on their way to a weekend sweep. But a very well-timed timeout by Coach Blackowitz. And that seemed to really get the Stars back on track. And for the remainder of the game, they controlled the action, really put a lot of pressure on D'Amelia, controlled most of the play. And finally, Ziggy Paulson able to put one in with 3:32 to play. Truett Spiker scored 34 seconds later. And then it was Luke Gressel getting the game winner with 14 seconds to play in the game. Again, Napier, solid game by him. He made some really nice saves, especially late in the game when it was tied at 3-3. So he played extremely well. Also in this game, Spiker had 2 assists to add to his goal. Ryan Marion picked up an assist, and Luke Gressel also added assists to go along with his goal. They also did a really good job on Tigers' Brendan Hervey. It's hard to keep him off the score sheet. He did get a goal and an assist, but given what he's done in the past year, a pretty good job of keeping him to just 2 points over the weekend. JV teams were also in action. Rough start for JV1 and JV2. JV1 lost a pair of games to Springfield by scores of 5-0 and 8-2. JV2 lost a pair of games to Midmo by scores of 1-0 and 5-1. JV3 did manage a tie against the Knights JV2 by a score of 2-2. And their second game of the weekend, which was supposed to have been against St. Joe, was postponed, so they'll make that up at some point later on this year. When we return, we'll take a look at this weekend's games as the Northwest Arkansas Ice Hogs come to town on the Kansas City Stars High School Hockey Podcast. Well, the Northwest Arkansas Ice Hogs come to town this weekend for a pair of games against the Stars that'll be held here at the Kansas City Ice Center Saturday and Sunday. Northwest Arkansas coming off a second-place finish in the league standings last year with a record of 14 wins, 6 losses, and 2 ties. In fact, they were the only team to have a game where they didn't lose to Wichita, managed to play them to a tie. Stars played this team 4 times last year in the regular season. Northwest Arkansas unfortunately won all of those games. However, they were competitive, very close games, especially the 2 games played down at Springdale, where Northwest Arkansas scored goals in both of those games in the final minute of play to break ties. Again, very competitive games. This is a team that loses a lot of their top goal scorers to graduation. Last year they had 9 players with 10 or more points in the league standings. 7 of those players are gone. However, the 2 that are returning, Max Saunders and Chance Freed, were 2 of their top scorers. Saunders last year had 16 goals, 8 assists for 24 points, and Freed had 10 goals and 10 assists last year for 20 points. So they're going to be strong on that first line, and if you look across their roster, they had a lot of other players that contributed goals, scored big goals, so they're certainly capable of scoring at any time regardless of which line is on the ice. They had a tough weekend start here in league play with a loss and a tie to the Knights over the weekend, losing 2-1 on Saturday, and then picking up a 3-3 tie on Sunday. The aforementioned Max Saunders led the scoring for the Ice Hogs with 3 goals and an assist. Chris Huang had 2 assists, and William Sullivan also picked up a goal for the Ice Hogs. On defense, Ben McMaster returns as their top goalie. Last year, a very respectable 12-6-2 record and an impressive 2.24 goals against average. Also in goal, Asher Henkel, who played mostly JV last year but had a very solid 1.59 goals against average in JV. And a third goalie who was not on either of the rosters last year, Samuel Langston. He actually played in one of the games over the weekend, also in goal. So we'll see. I assume it'll be McMaster at least for one of the games and possibly one of the other goalies. But this is a real good team. The Stars did play a couple friendlies against them. They were shorthanded. The Stars were shorthanded. The score is probably not indicative of how competitive they are, but I think if the Stars do the things they need to do, get the puck on the net, not be overly unselfish, and take that one extra pass, or again, throw the puck at net, try to get to McMaster. I think if you get the puck on the net, get quality scoring chances, you could beat McMaster. They need to be not so careless in the defensive zone. Certainly don't want to turn the puck over in the defensive zone, and when they have opportunities to get the puck out of the zone, do that. And I think if they do that, they'll have a good chance of coming away with a couple of victories this weekend. JV teams also in action this weekend. The JV1 will be at home against Midbow for a couple of games. JV2 will be taking on the KC Knights JV2 on Friday, and then heading up to Bodie Ice Arena in St. Joe for a game against the Griffins on Saturday, and the JV3 team will be home to take on the Northwest Arkansas Ice Hogs. Up next, my conversation with Stars forwards and alternate captains Tristan Prier and Luke Gressel on the Kansas City Stars High School Hockey Podcast. And I'm now joined by Stars forwards Tristan Prier and Luke Gressel. Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us, Rob.
Great, thanks. Well, first of all, the season got underway last weekend. You split a couple of games with Midmo. Tell me about the games. What did you guys do well? What do you think you need to improve? Just what were your overall thoughts on this weekend's games?
I thought the games were pretty solid. I mean, the first game, there's a lot to improve on and build off of. We had a couple defensive breakdowns during that game. And, looking from the stands during that second game, it looked like we had improved a lot more. The forecheck was stronger, a lot more shots on net. So,
yeah, I think we found out in the first game that we need to improve on our PKs and stuff. And then the second game, we played good all game. We let it slip for like 6 minutes, and then we came back in the final three, and then we won.
Yeah, so speaking of the comeback on Sunday, Luke, you got the game-winning goal with 14 seconds to play. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it, those of us watching.
Yeah.
But, tell me about the goal.
Basically, Truitt just performed again. He had a really good game, and he passed it up to me, and then I just shot it, and I think the goalie was expecting it to go somewhere else, and it just went 5-hole again. So
5-hole per usual.
Yeah. Well, I saw you tried to go 5-hole in the first game on the breakaway, but he looks like D'Amelia made a pretty good save on you there.
Yeah. They looked really open on him.
Yeah, no, great win. Always good to get at least a split when you go on the road, so good way to start the season. So, Tristan, you didn't play Sunday. However, you were moonlighting as the color commentator working with your dad. How was that?
It was pretty fun. I can't be as good as the famous Rob Plamondon, but it was pretty fun. Unfortunately, I didn't get to call out any fireball power plays.
No penalties in that game. I
was
watching that game, too. I was going, wow, there's a lot of clutching and grabbing. I think... I'm trying to think, was it Pasco that could have gone in clean and he got hooked?
There were a lot of missed calls.
I thought you guys did a good job. Just wish I would have saw.
My dad's still kind of trying to figure it all out. So.
Yeah, it does take a while. It does take a while. You guys are home this weekend. You got Northwest Arkansas coming into town. You played them a couple times earlier this year. You were a little bit shorthanded, but what do you know about Northwest Arkansas? What do you expect from them this weekend?
They got two players that we really need to watch out for, and then. Other than that, I think they're a pretty comparable team to Midmo after those two players, so we just need to play better.
Yeah, I think we need to come out physical. Obviously, like Luke said, they've got two really good players. I think if we can shut them down, our chances of winning are going to be a lot higher for those games. So. Yeah.
All right, so guys, just I'll ask each of you, and this doesn't have to be about your high school career, but what's your best or favorite moment as a hockey player, just any time throughout your career?
I really enjoyed last year's opening night with everyone there at KCIC. It was felt really energetic, so it was really fun. That's probably my favorite.
I would have to say I have a lot of great moments in hockey, but last year when I got picked up by the Stars, my first game, scoring a goal, first goal varsity game, shorthanded, that was pretty cool. Yeah,
I remember that. That was a great goal. And last question for you. What are your thoughts? Any plans to play hockey, or what are your hockey plans after high school?
I don't really have any yet, but maybe play ACHA somewhere.
Sure.
That's kind of my goal, too. I'm going to start to reach out to some colleges, ACHA, maybe up north, like Wisconsin area. So, we'll see how that goes. But
all right. Well, guys, thanks for your time. Really enjoyed having you on the podcast here. Again, great games last weekend, and good luck this weekend against Northwest Arkansas and for the rest of the season.
Right, thanks, Rob.
You.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Well, that'll do it for another episode of the Kansas City Stars High School Hockey Podcast. I want to throw out some thanks out there to, first of all, to Right Tree Service for sponsoring this video and for their support of Kansas City Stars Hockey. Thanks to Jason Prier for doing the live stream and the play-by-play at Midmo last weekend. And I want to thank all of you, the players, the coaches, the fans, for all your support, not only in the broadcast that I do, but also in this podcast. It certainly means a lot, and I certainly hope you enjoy it. Also a reminder, this weekend, the Stars against Northwest Arkansas. If you're not able to make it out to KC Ice Center, you can watch the game here live on the Kansas City Stars YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching, and hope to see you soon on another episode of the Kansas City Stars High School Hockey Podcast.